Hi, Debbie Cleek here, along with Embrilliance Software and EmbroideryDesigns.com to show you the greatest features of StitchArtist levels 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go over all three of these levels of software and all the basic features of each one of these levels. We're also offering some really great promotions at this time just for you. They are 10% off of all Embrilliance software purchases, 50 free designs with purchase, and 10 free embroidery fonts or BX fonts, Embrilliance fonts, with Embrilliance purchase, and free shipping, which I think is the greatest promotion of all, free shipping with stabilizer and adhesive purchases. So I hope you can take advantage of these really great promotions. Without further ado, let's get started on Stitch Artist. Here we are in the Embrilliance software, and the first thing we're going to do to get started is click on the Create button here in the top toolbar. That is going to open up the tool pane, this part down here, to the Stitch Artist features and functions. This one happens to be level 3, and this one's level 1 where we're going to start. We're going to start at level 1, and in level 1 you can bring in images, bitmaps, JPEGs, TIFFs, GIFs, and PNGs. See, and it always shows you here in your file name and your files of type box, image files, it'll list there what formats you can bring in. Bitmaps, JPEGs, TIFFs, GIFs, and PNG files. We're going to bring in a nifty little, let's go to my artwork folder here. A nifty little heart with paw. It's a quick and easy one to get us started. We're going to make sure now, right now, you would say, oh my gosh, the software didn't work. It didn't bring in my artwork. I have the show or hide artwork button here, a background image. That will turn that image off and on. And you'll see when we move on to the next design in level 1, how that comes in handy for us. Okay, let's zoom in on this just a tiny bit. Yes, you can size this. But I would rather not size it. I would rather zoom in on it. Let's get it so it fits into the window. There we go. Nice. Okay, now with that selected, you notice my magic wand tool right here. When I hover over, those tool tips fly out, and I can see that I've got my magic wand tool. So right away, I'm going to magic wand my dog paw, magic wand all 4 of the toes, and right click when I'm done. Now you see right here, there's a little conundrum with all these nodes that we don't need. Let's zoom in on that. Let's pick up my magnifier tool and scroll down to that little area. Oh my goodness, see what it did? Let's click on these and delete them. We'll just do a little software cleanup before we get started. Any node that we don't need, which is most of these, by the way, oh, come on, turn black. There we go. We'll delete that one. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll keep this one, but we'll move it here to the tip. We'll delete this one. And I'm kind of adjusting my Bezier handles as I go along, deleting my nodes. just to kind of make sure everything conforms with my artwork. And it doesn't have to be perfect to my artwork, folks. One of the things about embroidery designs is once I get the design finished, who I give this to or who sees it when I'm wearing it, they're never going to see the artwork, so they're not going to know if it's an exact match. Get it to where you like it and make it your own. Don't be afraid to follow, to not be exact to the artwork is what I'm saying. Close enough for hand grenades is just fine. But all these notes here will cause a problem at the machine when stitching it out. And it can also cause a problem with your design. There we go. That looks pretty good. There's still a couple more nodes I could get rid of, but let's fill this with some fill stitch. And see what we got. You notice we have this little artifact here in the middle where the two sides stitch and match up. Let's look at our sewing simulator and we can see how that sews. There's our undersewing. Here it's going to sew the top half of the dog paw. Then it's going to go to the bottom and stitch from the bottom up and cause that artifact. What we'll do in this case, we'll select it. Go back to our create button. I'm going to take my start point. I'm going to move it up here to the top. And I'm going to move my stop point down here to the bottom. And now I still have a bit of an artifact. Let's try and change my stitch direction just a bit. This tool with the little yellow handles on each end, that's my inclination line. It allows me to change my stitch direction, which is a handy little tool to have. Let's see if I can work on this. There we go. I still have a little bit of an artifact, but if you notice, it's not nearly as noticeable as it was before. So sometimes you just kind of have to work with it a little bit and tweak it. We would do the toes in the same way. We're not going to do all four of the toes, but we would, again, delete the extra nodes and fill it with fill stitch. There we go. Let's zoom out just a bit so I can see my heart. Now, the other way to create designs in the StitchArtist software is by using the Draw with Points tool. To use that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pick up my Draw with Points and I'm going to draw with the satin border. I'm going to start over here at this side. I'm going to click one, this is my anchor point, and then I'm going to click, and I like to use, I'm going to hold down my shift key. You notice that that little square next to my crosshairs changed to a circle. That means I'm drawing with points, but I'm drawing a curved line. Most of this heart is a curved line, so I want to draw my design using the Draw with Points curved line as opposed to a straight line. I'm going to click on to make my anchor at the very end of my heart, my outline. Then I like to use a peaks and valleys. I'm going to click in the peaks and I'm going to try to make it as symmetrical as I can. Right click when I'm done. Oh, that looks horrible. But that's okay. Once I get my little Bezier handles here and work on straightening this out, it'll be lovely. We'll just go around and straighten this out just a tiny, tiny bit. Come on, Node, select. Okay, just a couple more adjustments to make. I need my crosshairs. There we go. That side looks good. Let's finish up this side here. Click on my node, click on my Bezier handle, make a little adjustment. Okay, one last thing to do to finish this design up. I'm going to come over here to my properties window, my control panel, if you will. And I'm going to change this where it says nib at start and nib at end. That should be end there. But because I changed my screen resolution, some of the things are just kind of wonky in the view. I'm sorry. I'm going to click rounded and nib at end. I'm going to click rounded. You see how it's got a little rounded end to it as opposed to just a straight drop off. And there we've completed our first design in what, 10 minutes? Not too bad. Now let's go over that again using some different tools and a little bit different artwork. Let's get a new design page. Let's go to image. Let's go to my JPEG folder. Okay, let's use our draw with points. Only this time I want to make this part of my design, I want to make it an applique. So let's come up here, select my draw with points, and select my applique tool at the same time. That way when I draw with points, I'm actually drawing with applique. Let's make this a two-step applique, Pez card traditional. Let's make our border a blanket stitch. Let's make our border the zigzag stitch. I think it'd look better on this. I'm picturing it on a little polo shirt, maybe a little crest design, and a nice, loose, not so tight, compacted zigzag stitch I think would look nice. And it would wash and wear nicely as well. So I'm going to hold down my shift key again. So it changes my little crosshairs to a circle. I'm going to click, 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 click down here at this point. Close my shape. Now let's come down here to this point here to start with. Let's right click on that. And you see I have a number of options there. Let's select it again. Okay, let's select this node. Come on, node, select. There we go. I'm going to right click on that node. And you notice I have a bunch of options, one being a cusp. We're going to change this to a cusp because what that will do is that will allow us to change our Bezier handles independently of each other, which when you have a point like this, it comes in handy because then I can bring them each in. Okay, let's adjust the rest of our little Bezier handles to make this a nice smooth round heart. Okay, coming right along. It looks like this one's already a Bezier because it's letting me adjust the handles independently. Let's zoom in on that a little bit so we can see it better. Move over this point, adjust it out. Move over the point end of this Bezier handle, adjust it out. Okay, let's scroll down just a bit. Let's select this Bezier handle. Yep, it's going to give me this one up here as well. Let's bring that in. There we go. Oops. This one over here has got a hiccup. There we go. Let's just make this guy go away. I should be able to adjust these Bezier handles. Oh, yeah. Let's put that node back here. I think we might need that. There we go. Perfect. And that is draw with points once again and editing the Bezier handles. Now, if the Bezier handles scare you, you can always turn them off using this guy here. It says line will edit as a spline with no handles or with Bezier handles. I suggest you leave it on and always learn how to adjust your Bezier handles. It makes it so much easier to adjust your curves. Let's come over here. Let's magic wand this guy. Pick up my magic wand. Right click when we're done. Fill it with the satin column. Let's zoom out just a tiny, tiny bit. Perfect. Let's change the color of our green applique. Let's come over here to our properties window, click on the color tab, click on the black color chip or whatever color you want to change. You see I've got my applique position and my applique color. Let's see if we can, oh, here's a nice green. There we go. Nice. Now let's come over here to that. Let's change that to a dark gray. Or medium gray. That's nice. And let's come over here, pick up our Draw with Points tool, our Fill tool. This time we don't have to hold the Shift key down because we're going to draw with straight lines. Close our shape, and there it's filled. Let's select that color, that object. And what color do we want to make our flag? Let's make it this tangerine color. There we go. That is design number 2 in less than 20 minutes in StitchArtist level 1. Let's move on now to StitchArtist level 2. I'm going to click on my little create tool here. And this is my level 2 toolbar. I'm going to get a new page. This time, if you can see, I have an image button and a vector button. I'm going to click on the vector, and it's going to open up my SVGs. Oh, there's a cute dog paw. Some cute little elephants. Be the ball. Let's click on let's follow a golf theme today, folks. Let's click on Be the Ball. Let's zoom out. Whoops. Let's size this down just a bit so I can zoom it in. That's good enough to get us started anyway. Now, the fun thing about working with, you notice all these come in. Let's scroll this. Let's move this window down a little bit. You notice that it comes in with outlined with lines already. That means that I can right away start filling it with stitches. I don't have to draw anything. So I'll start with the background and work my way forward. So the green would be the furthest back. Let's find that in my object tree. Here it is. Let's fill that with a fill stitch. There we go. Let's fill this with a satin column. And you notice it's filling with the color that the artwork is in automatically because we're working with vector art. It's just one of the beauties of vector art. Okay, let's fill the pennant with fill stitch. And let's work on these letters. Let's select the letter B. Let's come up here to fill with satin column. Oh, shnikes, it didn't leave a hole for the for the B. Let's undo that. What I need to do here, let's move this out of the way real quick. Yeah, I'll work with these in tabs at the bottom since I've got limited space with the way I've got everything enlarged to 175% so you can see the icons nice and clearly. So let's get our zoom. Let's zoom in on the B. Let's select the outline. Hold down our shift key and select the first inside of the B. Come up to create, outline, combine holes. We're going to do that again. Let's undo that. Select the inside, hold down my control key and select the outside. Objects. Okay, I've got them both selected. Let's come over here to the create, outline, and combine holes. Now you see what I have here in my object tree? I've got a hole in my B. Let's select the second one. Hold down my control key, select the letter B, the outline. Come back over to create, outline, and combine holes. Now let's fill that with the satin column. And there we go. Perfect. Just beautimous. We'll probably have to do the same thing with the E. Create, outline, and combine holes. Satin column. Let's change the color of these so you can see the stitching of the satin column. See, that's not too bad for just a simple click and done. I could live with that. Let's look at the E. Let's change it as well. Okay, so we'll continue on with these letters, filling them with satin column. Hold down my control, select the inside and the outside of the E. Come over here to the Create menu, go to Outline, select Combine Holes, fill it with satin column. And don't worry, we're going to change the colors, but we're going to do it all at the same time. Select the outside of the B, hold down my control key, select the inside of the B, go to Create, Outline, Combine Holes, hold down my control key, select the inside. You see they're selected here in the object tree. Go to Create, Outline, Combine Holes, fill with satin column, select the A, Oh, there's some wicked nodes here. Let's delete some of those. When you have nodes all together like this, guys, it can cause errant stitches to go across your screen. Just wackadoo crazy. So we want to avoid that. Select the outside, hold down my control key, select the inside. See, they're both selected here. Go to create, outline, combine holes, fill with satin columns, select my L, select my other L, the 3 little dots here. And there we go. Now let's select these. And change the color. There we go. 2 more sections to do. Let's do the gray pole, satin border, and let's make this a bluebird. Let's change the SVG color. Sky blue. Put a little fill stitch in that. There we go. There's design number 2 finished. Because I could get started right away and not have to trace my design, it made it go a lot faster. It made it a lot more efficient. Just overall, a lot more pleasurable experience. Oh, I forgot one thing. Actually, I forgot 2 things. I'm going to select my green. I'm going to come over here and show or hide stitches. It's going to hide all of my stitches. I need to see this little line here, the golf ball, and the hole. So we're going to come up here and select my draw with points and my draw with the run stitch. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw with the sashiko. And I want that to be about 5 millimeters. Let's zoom in on this a bit. Okay, that's going to have to do. I can work with that. Let's hold down my shift key. Click, 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 click. Right click when I'm done. Adjust a couple of Bezier handles. There we go. And remember, it's set to hide stitches. Now I'm going to come up here. I've got this little guy here that will allow me to automatically draw a circle. We're going to fill that with some satin column. And then we're going to come over here and I'm going to use the same little circle tool. Objects. Let's select this object from the object tree. And move it into place a little bit. Fill it with the fill stitch. Now let's come back up here, click our show or hide stitches. Change our color. Let's select this from the objects tree. Let's change this color. Click on the color tab and the properties. Let's see if we can search by color. Yes. Okay. And then finally, let's go to the object tree. Let's pick the little ball. Let's go to the properties tab and the color tab. WHITE. There we go. There's our design. Let's get rid of that artifact on our flag. Here we go. Much better, much better. There we go. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit more on this. There we go. I think that's perfect. So there is our second design. And keep in mind, folks, there's a lot more this software will do. I'm only showing you the very, very, very basics. Because if you happen to purchase this software today with the 10% off, I'd like for you to be able to go home and create something. I think that's the best way to get satisfaction from a new purchase. When you get new shoes, you can't wait to wear them. When you get new embroidery software, you can't wait to make something. And I want you guys to be able to go home and make something with the software when you purchase it. I want the hardest part to be finding software, finding artwork you can use, not using the software to create the design. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see what else I can show you here. You also have drawing column by making two sides. You also have the draw column with left and right alternating input. And that's just simply going left and right and left and right and left and right and left and right. Right click when you're done. And you see how it took that curve? Now, if I would have been holding my shift key down when I did that, see how it kind of made that more curved? And again, folks, this is all editable. And when I go to File, let's delete these guys. When I go to File and Save As, I'm going to Save As Stitch and Working File. I'm going to call it My Design. I'm going to save it in my artwork folder. You notice I say that as a Stitch and Working File. Let's go to File. Let's go to Merge Working File. Desktop. Artwork. Working File. I can come over here now and I can change this. Maybe I want this to be an applique. Let's go to my Create button. Maybe I want this to be an applique now. So I can change it to an applique. Maybe I want to, let's undo this. Maybe I've done the test, so when I've discovered I need to adjust my density. Here's my density. I can adjust my density here. Maybe I discovered that this part down here, that artifact, really shows like crazy. So I can move my start and stop points by saving my BE or my working file. Okay? Don't forget, if you have any questions, to type them into the comment box. Now let's move on. Let's click on the icon here. And this is our level 3 toolbar. You see there's lots of additional bells and whistles. Let's get a new design page. We're going to show this a little differently. I'm going to bring in a piece of artwork. It's going to be vector art. I'm looking for that pesky butterfly. Up one level. There we go. So we're going to do the pesky butterfly. We're going to do it a little differently. I'm going to take the outside of my butterfly and I am going to do the edge stitch with a patch or overlock. That faux mirroring stitch that we have in Merrily Patches is built into StitchArtist Level 3. So I can click on that. Let's change the color so you can see the stitch a little better. Let's zoom in on this. You see how it gives that faux mirroring stitch? That would make this butterfly a patch. Now, yes, I would, if I were creating this design for real, I would add that faux mirroring stitch last. And I may even size the shape up a little bit so it didn't overlap in any of my little butterfly accents here. Let's click on parts of the ribbon. Let's fill it with the satin column. Let's change the color. by selecting the color chip under the Properties tab. There we go. Hold down my Shift key, select both sections. Okay, now I've held my Control key and selected both sections. Let's come over here to our Color tab. Make it pink. Let's go back to our object tree. Let's start filling this puppy in. And I use the satin column a lot, folks. It just really adds itself well to defining a shape. Okay, we'll change the colors when we're done. In the interest of time, and we may not finish this whole design. I may move on because there's something else that I really want to show you, and I've got 15 minutes left. Hold your Control key down. You can select more than one area, and if I know I want to fill them all with satin column, I can select them all at one time and fill them with satin column. Just so I can select them all at one time, go to my Properties tab, click on the color, click on the color block. Let's make that a pretty blue color. Okay, we'll make the other side match because butterflies are kind of matchy-matchy like that. Now I'm going to hold my Control key down. I'm going to select these next sections. Maybe. Go to my Color tab, click on the little black square. Let's change the color of this. There we go. Actually, I think this section up here I can, yeah, I can. That's awesome. There we go. It's our pink ribbon butterfly. And then what I can do, remember I told you I would make this last if I were doing this technically? I can come over here to my object tree, up to the beginning, select this, right click on it, move last. There we go. And that would make this a patch that I could put on a hat, put on a sweatshirt. Of course, it would need to be a little bit smaller. This down here is our size. When it's red, it's too big for the hoop that's assigned. To select your hoops, you come up here to Preferences. Let's go to the 360 by 200. Let's size this down. And now let's zoom in. There we go. Okay, one more thing I want to show you before we're out of time. Something you can do in level 3, just quick and easy to have a little bit of fun. Click on your lettering tool. Use your block letters. That's what StitchArtist comes with, is the block letters. So we're just going to use the block letters. I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to come up here to the create an outline from stitches on the page and create an outline. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to inflate that outline. I'm going to remove the holes, click OK. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to merge. I'm going to use Union to create that all as one piece. I am going to select these and delete them, my original outline. And now you see what I have here. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select the patch edge for that. And I have just created a monogram patch. Now what's real popular now are the raw edge patches on baseball hats, baseball caps. If I come over here to the applique and go to my properties, click on applique. Do position, do material, and border, none. That's how I would create a raw edge applique for my hat. If I want to do something like Dog Mom with the dog paw in the center, I'd be able to curve that font. And then I could make a patch out of the whole thing. Okay? Any questions? Don't forget, type them in the the comments box. Okay, so that's digitizing in level 3. There are lots of fun tools you can use once you get your software and get acclimated. Like I said in the beginning, this is just the basics of this software. I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this, but I hope you got something valuable out of this. Thank you and have a good day.